farmers are humble. They just want to stay out here on their farm, and they don't want to pat themselves on the back, and they don't want to say this is what they're doing. They just want to farm. And we have got to be able to tell their story. And this is a great, great way to tell their story.
For more than a century, the Wishnetsky family has been building an empire of sweetness. From their state-of-the-art packing and shipping facility in the winter strawberry capital of the world, Plant City, Florida, Wish Farms brings several varieties of berries to local, national, and international markets throughout the year, including blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, pine berries, and their keystone commodity, strawberries. The Wish Farms story began in 1922 around a pushcart partnership forged by two intrepid businessmen in Lower Manhattan, Gershon Harris Wishnetsky and Daniel Nathal.
My grandfather was a Russian-Ukrainian immigrant that came over from Ukraine in 1904. And he began selling fruits and vegetables from a pushcart and developed a whole fleet of pushcarts. And by the 1920s, he had started a wholesale operation because he had sometimes bought more than his pushcarts could handle.
In 1929, Wishnetsky began traveling to Florida to be closer to production and the auction markets. Over time, the company expanded. Bursting at the seams with consumer demand, in 2019, Wish began work on a new headquarters that would support their current and future production needs while also showcasing their commitment to their community. Designed with the environment in mind and their employees at heart, the new office opened in 2021, complete with an atmosphere that would make Walt Disney smile.
It was abundantly clear that we had to build a bigger office and have a more efficient warehouse with all of our operations here in Florida under one roof. And it was a great opportunity for us to kind of plant our flag in the ground and say, hey, this is our home right here in Plant City.
About 30 miles south of Plant City in Duet, Florida, sits the company's 2,400-acre G&D Farms. Widely considered to be the largest contiguous strawberry farm in the world, a typical growing season sees the farm planted with nearly 20 million strawberry and pineberry plants, of which up to 585 acres are grown conventionally and as many as 200 acres are grown organically.
G&D Farms was established in the mid-'80s. When my dad founded it, he really wanted to pay homage to the two founders, Wishnetsky and Nathal, which is the foundation of Wish Farms today. And Gershon was my great-grandfather, and Daniel was his business partner. So G&D is their first initials, and he really thought that would be a nice way to honor their legacy.
I'm really happy that I was given an opportunity myself to join the family business, and I want that opportunity to be there for the future generations too, if they're willing to take it on.
Serving as Wish Farms' flagship growing operation, G&D Farms is managed with an unwavering commitment to the environment.
Chris Parks, who does a fantastic job, he manages the farm like it's his own, but he also manages it in a way that it's sustainable, that everything he does is environmentally friendly, and that's just the way we do things.
Hey, let's go find a toy.
Utilizing the latest in agricultural technology, G&D Farms has implemented multiple strategies to measure and manage irrigation, fertigation, and plant health. Drip tube placed under plastic ensures that water and nutrients are injected directly into the root zone, minimizing evaporation and maximizing efficiency, while the use of soil moisture probes helps to measure and quantify vital moisture and nutrient information. The addition of an application-based program puts all of this data into the palm of the farm manager's hands and allows for remote access and control of many of the systems on the farm.
I can pull it up on my phone or laptop, and I can monitor the amount of water. I can monitor the amount of fertilizer, program it to put out X amount. I've got soil moisture probes that track ECs and soil moisture, so even can see when the plants are drawing water, what time of day, and base fertilizing on all those variables.
I can tell you that we are seeing farmers apply up to 35% less nutrients and are reducing their water by up to 60%. And I think that's a great story in itself right there.
Soil and tissue samples help identify which nutrients are needed by the plants or the soil. Using these two practices in tandem helps give G&D Farms the information they need to best manage their inputs.
It really just helps them get a clear picture, if you will, to say, okay, this is what I have, this is where I need to be, and then once they get to where they need to be, this is what they need to do to continue.
Following the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services Best Management Practices, or BMPs, G&D works to protect not only their investment in the season's crop, but also Florida's water supply.
They have a series of like retention ponds and ditches, and they also have like silt catch ponds around their wetlands that will absorb and catch all of that excess water. There's native grasses and plants that they can utilize that will absorb the excess nutrients before it's released and passed on through. And then when it leaves the farm, it's much cleaner than when it is utilized on the farm, essentially.
Almost all of our water in Florida eventually ends up on the coastlines, and it goes through multiple waterways, tributaries, creeks before it gets there. So it can have a major impact throughout the state depending on the location. This farm in particular here, the tributaries actually lead and end up in the Manatee Reservoir, which is the drinking water for Manatee County. So they are very, very careful in managing their nutrients and their insecticides and pesticides on this farm because they want to protect it and have clean water.
To reduce the application of traditional chemical insecticides, G&D Farms employs an integrated pest management program. Utilizing drones, the farm releases thousands of hungry, beneficial insects that feed on any harmful pests infesting the plants.
We currently have a company that comes in with a drone and flies them over the field and releases them on a grid. You need a certain amount of pests for the predators to stay alive on. So once you hit that threshold, then you get a recommended let's release, and we start releasing via drone on the fields as those come in.
When you think about it, the environment really is everything when it comes to farming. We're growing outdoors, so we're completely dependent on Mother Nature. We have to work with Mother Nature. Sometimes she doesn't always work with us, but we're doing our best to keep up and to adapt as much as we can.
It's literally the only piece of ground we have, so you better take care of it if you want to keep farming it continuously. The better you take care of it, the better crop you have. So
I'm really excited about the future of Wish Farms. We've got a really great team here, but we all understand the mission. That really gives me a lot of hope and optimism about where we're headed. I couldn't be more proud of how things are going right now, in that direction that we're headed. So